A very good morning to one and all the dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and all the lovely students, teachers, all the support staff here. I'm Anup Yama. I'm the world champion gold medalist and Arjuna Awardee from the sport roller skating. So, thank you. Well, Perspective 2.0. This is a wonderful initiative, I would say, to understand, how people would think before and then how a thought process changes and, how it is good on a large and global scale as such. So, well, I started skating when I was 3 years old and I did not know that the sport was called roller skating. So it has been my father who has been my my coach, my mentor, my guide, my philosopher, my everything. So I really can't thank him enough for putting me into the sport. Well, I did not know that this was called roller skating, and it was at the Nampally exhibition grounds that, I first got to put on skates and do skating. So it was on day one that, when I wore skates like an excited child, I was like trying to run here and there, falling, getting up, and I think it was a 1-hour session over there. And after an hour, it seems I started to roll, and that was when, all the people around were like, such a tiny boy, he's rolling, so, let us all give a big round of applause. So like how you guys just applauded, I had a whole hall applauding me then, and that was like the moment that, the love for skating ignited in me, and I felt that, probably I could do this. And I just asked my dad that, Daddy, please bring me again tomorrow over here, because I still didn't know that it was called roller skating. So then my father, he saw the spark in me that, I could actually do this. And then, well, he's been my coach. And well, way back then, the perspective for sports, well, sports would be something where if the child is not good at education, chalo, put him in sports. If the child is, too hyperactive, just throw him in the field and, let all his energy get exhausted. So this was the whole perspective of sports back then. But then my father had a different perspective towards sports. He himself had been a skater, but back then there were no competitions that would be conducted. So there was only one competition which he attended, which was like, which would happen like 5 years, once in 5 years. So he won the state gold medal, but then he did not have a path to, take this further. So he thought he would train me. But then way back then, we did not have skating rinks, we did not have skates, we did not have the knowledge how to do about it, and there were no expert coaching centers as such. So we discovered one USA company which would make skates, and we wrote to them, because back then no email and nothing as such, there's no WhatsApp also. So when we wrote to them, they were so excited that someone from India wants to actually pursue the sport. And along with the skates, they sent us 2 video cassettes and 2 books which have been our guru. And we would put it in the VCR and actually check out how to go about this sport and all. So that is how we started learning. So back then our thinking was like even though there is no skating facility, let's skate at a function hall after the function gets over. Even though, there's no one to coach us, we wanted to actually look at videos and learn. So positive was the whole idea behind, skating, that I think that is the only thing that kept us, going on and on. And then in the year 1999, it was the first time that I actually got to perform at a world championship. And believe me, out of 186 participants, like, from 90 countries, the top 2 skaters come. And I stood last in this competition. So, when someone stands last in a competition, they'll be like, I'm done and dusted, I cannot take this anywhere else. So generally, the thinking, the perspective of, even the parents will be like, we spend so much of time, so many hours, and, you just go and come last in a competition. Rather, my father being my coach, I think I had the advantage to connect with him, even at home, even in the skating rink as such. So when we went to the championship, I told my dad that, instead of getting depressed, I felt that, my thinking was like, there are another 185 people better than me, and there's so much over here to learn. So it was at the first world championship that I, stood last in the competition. Quite strange, but I think that was the best competition for me, and I remember that more than, all the victories that I have had. And you would see that, there were so many countries participating there, and the official videographers also were like, okay, someone from India, I mean, they're taking the video, they would just put it aside. They're like, okay, these people cannot really perform anything. And then from there on, I started to come in the top 20s and then the top 10s. And then, when I came in the top 5 category, then, people would be like, hey, please record this. There's an Indian skating here. So, that is how the perspective of the world towards skating and India changed. Because, they then started taking us seriously. And I would like to say that, from the year 2008 to 2012, continuously 4 years, I stood 4th in the World Championship, and that was the most frustrating thing. It was my dream that, I wanted to bring India onto the, onto the podium, the first, second, and third. And that was that one time where, I really was thinking that, should I really continue this? Because, every time I'm letting India down, and, I'm putting the country on the 4th position, but never in the top 3. But then, there's another saying that, the one place where you dig, you keep digging, you don't find anything, but then just when you're about to give up, that is when you actually are like, just there to strike gold or strike that diamond, and you're giving it up. So I just thought, this year everything has to be a lot more different, and the approach has to be, the thinking, the thought process has to be completely different, and with renewed energy, renewed passion. Every time, I mean, we lose, we have to gather ourselves from there, rise from the ashes kinds. And then that was when I was like, super dedicated, and all gone to the gym, and going to the skating rink, and making the better and the best out of me. And then finally in the year 2013, I was very fortunate to bring the gold medal for India out of 90 countries. And this was the best moment of my life, because those 5 minutes, I could represent my nation and be there, stand on the #1 position where the national flag was being raised and the national anthem was being played. And I felt that, at least these 5 minutes, I was responsible for India to be on the top of the world, like, never before as such. And this was the most glorious moment. But then, let's get back to the perspective of people, how they think about it. Well, when I was 3 years old, 4 years old, people would say, like, they would tell my dad, are you really serious about, doing sports? Because sports in India are only top 2 or 3 or 4 sports. And then skating, no one really knows. We had to educate people saying that, skating means, those wheels under your shoe. That is called skating. So that is how we started out explaining to people. And then when I would go on to win a district level medal, for those 2 days, all my relatives and everyone would be like, wow, this is great. And then the 3rd or 4th day, they would be like, but what are you doing about your studies? Because education is prime. In India, if you don't study, you don't get a job. If you don't get a job, then you all know, you don't get a good girl, and then you don't get anything after that and all. So after that, I started winning the state level medals. And for a week or 10 days, everyone would be happy and, just tell that, see, he's my cousin, he's my nephew, and, things like that. And then again, after that, they would be like, but what about the quarterly exams? What about the half-yearly exams? You really have to do well in them, and then, your final exams are around the corner. After that, winning at the national level medals, then people would be like, yes, I think now you're a serious sportsman. Well, always I was a serious sportsman, but then the perspective of people from a district level to a state level to a national level medal has changed so much on and on. And then when I started winning the international medals, then it was taken for granted that I am supposed to be a professional sportsman, according to everyone all in around me. And then sadly, even after winning the World Championship gold medal, in a place like, in a city like Rome in Italy, if I walk on the road, out of 10 people, 3 would recognize me. But in India, even my neighbor did not know that, I'm a world champion, and I'm a skater, and I'm a medalist. So the perspective of people, I still felt, could really change if I could, be recognized in my own country. And it was to my very good fortune, and by God's grace, the government of India, it recognized my services in sports. And after winning the Arjuna Award, an award given by the President of India, then it was standardized that, okay, he is a sportsman, and he plays for India, and he's a world champion. And the validation, when it comes from people, from the people's perspective, it is so pleasing, because when the whole world recognizes you and then your home does not, it's a sad feeling. So after that, I mean, this whole process of the thinking of people which has changed was really like a journey of, how even step after step, step after step, step after step, you not only have to prove yourself and even to get validated, even with the perspective of people, it is a big journey and a big, victory on the other side as well. And well, coming to the other point, back 3 decades ago, sports was like, just if you're not good at studies, you can do sports. That was the only thought process then. But today, I see that, many parents have changed their thinking, their perspective towards sports and outdoor activities, where they take their children themselves to the grounds to, try out 5 to 10 different sports, and then, they see which one that child is good at. And of course, because with better facilities and better infrastructure, and even the YouTube gives you enough information, the Google gives you enough information. So from there, they do pick it up, and then today we see that there are a lot of more passionate people towards sports and art and other things and all. So all I would like to say is that definitely it's the parents and the family and the ones near and dear and close by who really have to, change their thinking for the ones who want to pursue this with their passion. Because for me, if my father wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't have been introduced into sports, because I was definitely the studying kinds only. And so, I mean, I happened to top in a few exams and all, but definitely people know me as a sportsman. And then, of course, in our nation, where sports is not really in the prominence, it is still a sleeping giant, and there is so much of scope that everyone should really change their thinking about. Likewise, I would say that if you're good at some sport or some art or music or singing or something, definitely you need to struggle that bit of a part for everyone to change the way they think, and at the same time be very good at education. And after education, of course, like I had to even take care of my family business. So you need to juggle, you need to kind of manage everything, because it really teaches you how to be great on the overall. And of course, the thinking, mainly when people are actually wanting to see you as something, you have to first show them what they want to see in you. And then you need to also change their thinking by definitely, having realistic small time goals, one goal after another. So, you take one step, you achieve it, then take another step, you achieve it. And then, there is a whole belief process, there is a whole transformation in thinking, is my personal opinion. And, definitely, another one thing is that, we're all not, someone very extraordinary or, just someone born out of the crowd. We're all the same people doing the same thing again and again and again, every day, every week, every month, every year, even on festivals, even on days when you don't want to do it. It's all about practice, and one fine day you'll be surprised to see yourself being the best and the world champion in what you are, and your perspective towards yourself is going to change in every stage that you do. Because when you start believing and when your thinking starts changing within you for yourself, I think then the whole world is just a jiffy. I mean, you can just change anyone's thinking then. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and it was really fun talking to all of you. Thank you.